Stampers, and welcome to Laura's Stamp Pad. Today I just wanted to do a little up close and personal on the Stampin Trimmer. This tool is my #1 tool because I use it to cut all of my cardstock and prepare for all of my cards and crafting projects. So I use it a lot, but it seems to be one of those behind the scenes sort of tools that, you know, whenever I cut for my classes, I do that before the class, and so everyone at the class just gets these nice pre-cut pieces of cardstock, and it's already done and they don't actually see the cutting process. Also, when I do a lot of these tutorials, I don't do the cutting on camera. I usually am just doing the stamping and the assembling and the technique. So I thought I would just show you some of the awesome benefits and features of the Stampin Trimmer. So let's get started. This is what it looks like. It does have, the plate here is actually about 13 inches long. You'll see that the one starts right here next to this, and then it goes to 12 about right here. So maybe it's more like 12 and a half from side to side here where these two pieces are. And these two pieces are raised up. So they're a little bump, and that's where you're going to place your cardstock so that you know how you are cutting it. And you want that straight line. Then of course this arm raises up, and that's where you slide your paper under. So you can raise it up, slide your paper under, and then go ahead and lay it back down and cut it. There are the two blades on here. The lighter blade is the score blade, so you can think lighter is a lighter push on it, so it just scores. The darker blade is the cutting blade, and that one actually cuts your cardstock. The other awesome feature, here let me turn this to the side again one more time. The other awesome feature about this tool, this Stampin Trimmer, is that you can actually push the blades all the way past the line. So of course your cardstock is going to stop here, but you can actually push this all the way so that some of the older trimmers used to stop like at where the paper was, so it would sit here, so then you actually couldn't go all the way to the edge of your cardstock. You would have to either pop out one of the blades or move it to the other side, or you just couldn't cut that full piece with both of the blades on your Stampin Trimmer. So now you can actually push those all the way to the side, and you have this full sheet here that you don't have to worry about your blades or your score tool bothering it or getting in the way. So here I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock, and you'll see that it goes against this line here so that you have that all lined up and you know that you're straight there. And then you can just slide your score tool or your cutting tool along there. So now I'm going to turn it this way, and you can see that it goes past the paper, so you don't have to worry about it being in your way. And I'm just going to cut at 4 1/4. So that's directly in half. And now I have my 2 card bases. And you can slide those back so it can go either way, because the blade is like a little triangle. So you can actually pull towards you or push away from you, either one. There's also a little mechanism here along the end, and that actually will lock your arm in place. So if you're carrying your Stampin Trimmer around with you, and you can lock that in place so that the arm doesn't flop open. Because if the arm does flop open and then you turned it upside down, your little track will actually fall out. So this is the track that lays inside here, and sometimes that track does need to be replaced once you've used it a lot. It starts to get a little gunked up, or sometimes some paper gets stuck in there. If some paper or glitter or anything like that gets stuck in there, you can always take like a little piece of printer paper and fold it in half and run it through there, and it'll kind of pull out all of the little fuzzies and paper bits and things like that. You can also flip it over. There are 2 sides to it, so you can get a lot of mileage out of that. So no worries there, but that is a replaceable item. Of course, the blades are also replaceable items. And those you'll just slide to the end and then pop it out. And that's how you replace those. So only one end actually has the little groove that allows you to pop that out. The other awesome feature about this is that you actually have 1.25 inches to the other side. So your numbers and your measuring doesn't just go to the one side, it actually goes both ways. And I am not saying left and right because I know, some people might use their Stampin' Trimmer this way and some might flip it around. So I usually use mine this way. When I'm doing small little numbers, anything almost from a 1 1/4 down, a lot of times I will use this side so that I have plenty of room on this side to line it up. So here's my 1 inch line, and then I'm 1 inch right there, and then I will just pull this towards me, and now I have that fabulous 1 inch strip of cardstock. Of course, you can always do 1 inch going this way as well. So it does work both ways, so no worries there. The plate along here goes to 6 1/4, but if you want to do something longer than that, don't worry. An arm actually pops out. So you can see this arm pops out and pops into place. So now you have a nice long piece. This goes to 14 1/2. And the other little feature, which I don't always use this, but you can, is underneath this arm so that it doesn't actually like pop down and wiggle. Then there's actually underneath it, there's a little foot, and I'll flip that over in just a second. So now it is even and flat and nice and straight across. So let's turn that over and I'll show you that little foot. Here's the little foot that pops out, and then when you're done using it, you can just pop it back down and then pull your arm in and snap it into place. While we are on the back side, I also want to show you there's a nice little storage piece. So here you have some storage, and as you can see, I have extra blades back there that I just kind of place in there for whenever I need to switch out a blade. That way, if I'm not at home where my blades are usually stored whenever I have extras, I don't have to worry about it. I do have extra blades back there that I can always pop in, and I have some extra ones. Some of these look like they've already been used, and I need to either throw those away or see if they're still any good. So I don't actually have that many new blades to pop in. Some of them have been used. But that's a nice little storage piece there on the back. And then now you can always flip it back over and you have those awesome features. Of course, there's like a little lip here so that you can easily flip that up and back. And I do love that. But this is an awesome Stampin' Trimmer. Of course, a lot of the cuts that you'll see that I use a lot are the 4 1/4, which is in half to make a card, or at 5 1/2, which is in half the other way to make a fabulous little card there. The grids also help out a lot. While it's not really recommended, or I don't think it's very easy to just have your paper out in the open to be able to cut it, I always try to put it against this strip here. But if for some reason you wanted to do a diagonal or something like that, then you could always use your grid to kind of count X amount of boxes over or something like that. The other thing whenever you're doing a diagonal is you can always line up, and you can always line up the tip of your paper with that center groove there, and then the tip of your paper down here with that groove. So you can actually see where you are cutting because you're gonna cut in this nice little groove here. But if for some reason you wanted to do, 5 boxes over and you had some weird shaped piece of paper that wasn't perfectly square, then you could always use your little grid boxes to line it up, and so it's straight along this grid line and straight along this grid line. So that's super handy too, and then you can make that nice little cut mark there. So then you have that perfectly cut cardstock. It's super handy, and I use it, like I said, I use it every single time I'm creating a card because I want those nice, neat cuts. And it's, I use it all the time, but it's sort of a behind the scenes tool that I don't showcase a lot. So I thought I would do a little up close and personal on the Stampin' Trimmer. I will leave a link down below so that you can purchase your Stampin' Trimmer. And of course, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'm more than happy to assist you with that. And I will see you next time. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up if you liked it. Check out my blog, laurastamppad.com.